Hello, welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about something that people tend to get kind of defensive about and tend to go a little crazy over, even though it's not really that big of a deal in my opinion. It's just kind of like preference. So yeah, live blades versus trainer blades. So we're going to be talking about today. I guess it's technically would be considered a controversial subject, but I don't know if it really should be. I mean, I guess I can kind of see why it is, but it's pretty simple concept. So yeah, essentially live blades versus trainer blades. This is a live blade, has an edge. Trainer blades don't have an edge. I'm sure you know that, but some people might not. So, let me put this in perspective a little bit. Or not perspective, but let me just talk. So, let's say you're first getting into the balisong community and you don't know whether you should get a trainer, live blade, whatever it is, what you're gonna get bullied for using a trainer. Are you gonna get called crazy for using a live blade? In reality, both of those are true. You can't really escape ridicule or whatever the word would be. So with live blades, I started on a live edge. I'm glad I did, because when you start on a trainer blade, you pick up bad habits. And I know there's going to be people who are like, oh, but what if I never switch to a live blade, which is one of them, and in that case, there's not really any point of watching this video, is there? But one thing a lot of people say, or a lot of people do, is even though it is a trainer, they still pretend like it has a live edge on it. And in theory, that would be a good idea, you know? You don't have to really worry about the consequences as much once you start getting cut, because you pretend like your trainer has an edge, and most trainers have a bite handle marker anyway, right there, which pinches you if you're on the so-called edge. But the bad habits, even though theoretically you are, pretending like you're still flipping a live edge, it still develops bad habits. Because in my experience, let me just tell my story. So at first, I started with live edge. I got a CCC, then I got another sharp knife, which is this one here. And then I got my first trainer like 3 months or so into flipping, because my friend didn't want me to get cut. And so I got the trainer, which I don't think I have right now. It's somewhere. It was just a stainless steel Amazon trainer. You pick this up off the floor. And it was it's not like much filter, but that's not what this video is about. I keep dropping this. So I got that trainer, and then I realized that I could carry it places without people getting weird. I could just flip it without having to worry about getting cut. I didn't have to worry about cutting me or hurting somebody else, which is not going to happen anyway, as long as you don't flip right next to people, but still. It was I could just relax a little bit more as I flipped. And that was nice. So I kind of almost stopped flipping live blades for a while. Like I obviously would still flip them occasionally. But I mostly flipped trainers, and then I went back to a live blade, and I got cut like multiple times every single day. Sometimes I would have like 4 band-aids at once on my hand, because I would always get cut, because I was so used to flipping a trainer. Even though I did treat the trainer as if it had a live blade, I still got cut from the live blade when I got back to it. So the sort of thing is like, if you're starting with a trainer and you're going to switch over, that is a good thing, but in the end, it's not really going to change that much, because if you use a trainer, you're not going to get cut in the beginning. Let's say you use a trainer for like 3 months, right? By the time you get your live blade and you start learning on a live blade, and since you've been flipping a trainer this whole time, you're not really that good with live blades. And so even though you did pretend like you had a sharp edge on your trainer, it's still not the same. And so when you switch to your live blade, you're going to shed the same amount of blood that you would in the 3 months that you just would have had a live blade. So it all kind of evens out, because you go 3 months without getting cut because you use a trainer. When you get back, you're gonna get cut so much, it's gonna pretty much be the same as if you got cut all those 3 months. So it's either you want to spread the occasional cut, or just get cut a bunch of cuts all at once. And so maybe like, oh, you get a bunch of cuts all at once, and you don't really have to worry about it, because the pain lasts a little bit, and you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't really hurt that much, it just kind of is not comfortable. But, I mean, when you get cut all at once, because you use a trainer, you're going to have to wear a bunch of band-aids. It's going to be a pain to flip. It's going to be a pain to do pretty much everything else. You have band-aids, and your fingers are going to be sore from having multiple cuts. So you kind of, you yourself can make that decision. But I mean, I don't really care whether you flip a live blade or a trainer on usually if somebody's flipping a trainer in a video, I might just skip past it because I usually want to watch live blade flipping because with a trainer, sometimes people go so fast or even not even that fast, and you don't know whether they're actually on the edge, quote unquote edge on the trainer or not. So like they could be doing stuff on both handles and you would never know unless you went through the process of going frame by frame and saying, which I don't know why you would do that just for one video, but to each their own, I guess. But yeah, I usually like watching live blades because with a live blade, if you don't do the trick right, you get cut, and that will usually show on camera. So yeah, and then I will know that they're doing the trick right and they're not just pretending to. But you also have dull blades, which this is kind of dull. I still get cut from it occasionally. You have dull blades when you have the decently sharp blades, and then you have the razor blades that you just touch it and it cuts like this. I get cut almost every time I flip this 63 here, not only because it's so sharp, but because it's really heavy. I usually do really simple stuff on the 63, and I go pretty slow, not only because it's heavy and you can't really go fast anyway, but just because of how sharp it is. So, yeah. I've gotten some pretty deep cuts from it, even just doing simple combos, but that's all because if you this knife here, the way the grind is, the way the blade is done, you see the edge starts right here, but it's dull right here. With this, it's dull here, kind of like looking like a finger choil, but the edge points out, so it's like another point right there, and so that's what cuts me usually. So yeah, as for whether you want to start on a live blade or a trainer, usually it's a case of are they legal where you are, and will your parents let you start with a live edge? I've had a friend who got into flipping. He didn't really get super into it, but he started on a trainer because his parents would not let him start on the live edge. So, yeah. Luckily, my parents would let me start on the live edge just because that's all I had, and they didn't really care that much. So, yeah. That's kind of how that goes. So, as for whether you want to start on a live blade or a trainer, I don't care. I don't know if I agree with the whole thing, like, staying with a trainer. Well, no, I don't agree with it. It's like, I don't think live blade flipping and trainer flipping should really be classified as the same thing, because the thing with a live blade is not only can you get cut, it feels different from like a trainer. Even if you have the same handles, the same balance, just with a sharp edge instead of a training edge, it just feels different, because doing an area with a trainer, you don't need to be scared. You can just throw it up in the air and kind of wing it. An area with a live blade, if you mess up, you get cut. Sometimes if you're doing like a power aerial or something, you can get really badly cut. So you have that extra stress on you. So it's more impressive even if you're doing the same tricks to do it on a sharp edge, because even if you're doing the same tricks on the same handle, even if it's like literally identical, with a live blade it's still more impressive because you have that extra stress that you have to, work with to be able to get the trick done and smooth. So it's just a little bit more difficult in my experience than flipping a trainer. With a trainer, you have no stress, you just do what you do, and you don't have to worry about it. And now, do I believe that people should not have trainers? No, in fact, I think that I do not agree with only having live blades, and I do not really agree with only having trainers. If live blades are legal where you are, then definitely you should get a live blade, because it's just more diversity in your flipping. I mean, yeah, trainers can be their own little style. You can create a whole new style of flipping where you can do anything on either handle, which is not nearly as cool as sharp edges and stuff to me. Because to me, the appeal of the balisong, if balisongs didn't have edges, if there were literally only trainers, I probably would have gone for like kendama or burglary, I think that's how it's pronounced, or something, or some other skill toy, because it's not sharp. It doesn't really have anything unique about it, and it's not going to be nearly as easy, or there's going to be like a lot easier if you only have a trainer. Because a live edge, I think, is really what makes the balisong one of the harder skill toys, in my opinion. Because you have that edge, you have not only the fact that you could get cut, even if it's never really that bad, it's just like the extra stress, the extra pressure you have to deal with that you don't have to deal with other skill toys. So yeah, that's my opinion on the subject of live blades versus trainer blades. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you can get a live blade, definitely get a live blade. If you can't get a live blade, get a trainer. It doesn't matter that much, to be honest. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully maybe you learned something, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe if you want to, or if you like the content. Check out my Instagram in the description if you want. Comment are appreciated. Leave your opinions down below. I would like to read them. See ya.